Hi everyone and welcome to our YouTube channel. So we wanted to focus today's episode on the Black Lives Matter movement, and my very good friend Miss Victoria Toa has come today to talk about it. So yeah.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
Yeah, doing well.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I mean, here in Brisbane, just on Saturday, there was a huge protest that had about how many people?
Yeah, they said that there was about 30,000 people in Brisbane at that protest. And it probably was because it was huge.
Yeah. And I mean, for everyone that's watching this, if you heard a really loud voice, no justice. That's it.
No justice, okay?
No peace.
No peace.
Love it. Thank you. So it's funny that we've known each other for so long, but when I ask myself, how do you identify yourself, like your nationality?
Well, my nationality, so I'm American.
Yeah.
My ethnicity is I'm half black, half Tongan. My father is, my biological father, he is from Cameroon, Africa.
Okay.
And I don't know, I've never met him, don't know him. My mother, she is Tongan. Born and bred, yep. Full Tongan, born and bred in New Zealand. But my stepfather is Samoan.
Yeah.
So that's where the Toa, that's where that last name is coming from. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
it's a whole story, so I never really go into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was that, like, how was that growing up in America? Like, did you do schooling over there? Did you?
Yeah. I did schooling over there. Like, I was born and raised there. Born in California, and then we moved to Utah when I was like a little bit older. But yeah, growing up was interesting, just being different, just being a little bit different. I could kind of tell from a young age that there were things that I was just having to do a little bit differently.
Yeah.
In regards to like my cousins and stuff. So.
Yeah. And when you say different, I mean, you don't have to go into it if you don't want to, but how many labels do you feel like you could fit under? Like, it would be biracial? It would be, Yeah,
I would. I mean, I'm mixed race.
Yeah.
I'm mixed race. That's what it is. That's kind of the only thing I really went under. But I probably we're gonna get into it, I guess. I hid my blackness for a very long time.
Yeah. Why is that? If you don't mind me asking.
Just I could just sort of feel, like I said before, that I was just a little bit different. I didn't like my hair. I hated that it took so long for my mom to do my hair. I remember my dad taking me to this black lady. I did not know her, but like I went to her so that she can go do my hair, because my mom didn't really. I'm not saying that she didn't know how to do my hair, but I have different kind of hair like my cousins and just other Polynesians that I know with this long flowy black hair, thick hair, beautiful long hair, and so I didn't like certain things about myself. And I remember in school, like I was asked by like a poly guy, like, what are you like mixed with? And I was like, oh, I'm half Tongan, half Samoan. I fully
because you're
did not and they were like, no, you're mixed with something else. I was like, no, that's it, my last name, Toa.
It says it all.
Fully discounted, discredited.
I mean,
that is Junior. No, but
his face is off camera, but his voice is not.
No, and it was something that I did for a long time, and it just was a lot.
Yeah.
But
can I ask, did you have black friends?
No.
No?
In California where I live, because I was only there until I was about 12.
Yeah.
So I only went to elementary school there.
Yeah.
So that school was predominantly white. But I had like 2 Mexican friends.
Yeah.
But I was the only, I guess, black girl there.
Yeah.
But there was probably like 3 other Mexicans there, and that was about it. And then we moved to
Really?
Utah. And if you know Utah, it's very...
Which we don't. Which we're Aussies.
But I mean, if you know, it's if you've ever been there, you would know it's a very white predominant state.
Right.
Obviously, yes, there are people of color there, but it's like very few in between.
Yeah.
And so even when we did move there, and where we moved in Utah, particularly like the town, there was only me and like 6 other people of color, like at my high school, like in my junior high.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't really, I had to do a lot of like learning basically of like my blackness and black culture and black movies and things like
Yeah.
that, like as I got older, because my parents were also strict, so I didn't watch Friday and like, you know, certain like
Yeah.
movies and stuff that black people, you know, no, I didn't.
Which one's Friday?
Friday, the one with yeah,
Chris
and
Tucker.
Ice Cube, I think, yeah. So like there were just certain things of the culture that I didn't know, and I had to just
Yeah.
educate myself, and I'm still educating. I'm still educating myself.
I feel like
so.
here in Australia, especially, it would be crazy for us. Well, for me, to meet an African American, like a full African American. I didn't meet one until I was on my mission. I served in the army base, and there were African Americans everywhere, and like they just look so cool. Like when I think of one, I associate them with movies, because where else do we see them? So as you grew up and you were like, you know, there's movies, there's music, like African Americans are they're doing their stuff. Like they're out there and they're really showing everyone their talent and everything. When did you feel like, okay, I'm proud of being black?
Girl. I'm really serious. It probably, honestly, it probably didn't actually start until the situation with Trayvon Martin.
Yeah. Can you give a little, just for those that don't know?
Yeah. So Trayvon Martin, he was killed by George Zimmerman, who was like a neighborhood watch kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he saw.
And what was his ethnicity?
George? Or
yeah.
I mean, I think he's like Hispanic or like white. I don't actually know.
Yeah.
He looks of color, but he could maybe be white. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But and he saw Trayvon walking home, but he looked suspicious enough for him to go and attack him, and he killed him. He shot him, and like he was just walking home from the store. He had Skittles. He had an Arizona can. He had his headphones, his cell phone, and he was just going home.
And that's just the narrative, huh?
Yeah,
like
and that's how
it is.
That's how Black Lives Matter started anyways, was with Trayvon. And so it took a long time, obviously, by 2014, once 2012, 2014 happened, that's probably when, because I was older. I was about 19, 20, and I was like sort of on my own, and I was just, learning. Yeah. So it's probably when I started really getting into it.
And so this Black Lives Matter movement, like why is it like important to you? Because I think for us, like Polynesians, we can never say we 100% understand or like that we stand with we stand with those that are following the movement and that are advocates for the movement. But for me, I can't 100% sit here and say I understand everything about it.
Right.
I mean, I support what's going on, and I support the African Americans. I support like everything that they're going through, and it's even sad for us to see that, because I think a lot of Polynesians started to be like, oh, I've experienced racism. I've gone through something where I've sort of stood out from the crowd and someone kind of picked at me because of the color of my skin. But this movement it's focused on African Americans, and I think everyone that's experienced racism, we're trying to push a movement. Right. So
and you've nailed it. Basically, like I understand that Pacific Islanders may not directly connect with like the police brutality and like the systemic racism that what this particular country is literally built on.
Yeah.
But I know that you would understand being stereotyped and being like looked at as soon as you walk into maybe a class, like at school,
Yeah.
you know, or walking into work, or into an interview, wondering like, okay, it's time to put my white voice on, you know,
The white
it's
voice,
time to,
which
you
is
know,
what?
hi, my name is.
Yeah, like it's so
Like,
much more like,
you know, you're about to
it's like
put
it's
this
pretty
on.
and
Yeah.
there's no like there's nothing like that. It's so weird because
Yeah.
to us,
You're like, oh, maybe I should change my name. It's not Sione, it's this.
John.
Like, yeah, it's John. Like,
yeah. Like when I'm at work, for example, because we talk with like we have to speak with like doctors and people in that sort of profession. Like I'm talking to my mom, like, oh, mom, I'm hungry. Like, do you have any noodles? And that's how I'm speaking. And as soon as I'm on the phone, it's, hi, how can I help you today? And
switch.
something
It's
we
code
don't realize.
switching.
Why do you think we do that? Like, why can't we just speak how we speak to each other?
Is it bad?
Is what bad?
No, is that bad?
Is it bad to have like
To
put on
what?
the voice? I don't know if it's bad, but I feel like it's something that we shouldn't have to click. Like
yeah,
that
it shouldn't be something that we have to do, but it's like a survival thing.
Yeah.
If you it's like if I want this job, I need to pretend to like shy away from, I don't want to say this word, but like being too ghetto or like being too like whatever, like
Phobby.
yeah,
For the
phobby.
Polynesians.
Yeah,
Phobbies.
yeah. So like, I understand that it's fine if
Freshies.
you don't understand the movement, but it's so important that I think if you don't understand, you want to try, or at least want to listen, and like just figure out what it is that we're going through. Because, like I said before, you would have felt something in your own personal life. It may not have been direct racism, like you need to go back to the islands of where you come from. You cannot, you know, but it could have been subconsciously, or somebody would have said something sly and it was like funny and you kind of laughed, but in the end you were like, no, that's nothing, that's bad. So
So if you could paraphrase it, is that the word?
For what?
If you could, in a sentence, explain what the Black Lives Matter movement is, what would you say?
The Black Lives Matter movement is a movement to freedom.
Yeah.
It's a movement to liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
And when I mean all. Every single person that is existing on like the planet.
Yeah.
Because there are not just black people in the US.
Yeah.
Slavery went not just there, it went to South America, it went to Europe. There are black people in Germany, okay?
Yep.
They're all over. And so I would say that that's what it is, the movement to freedom.
Yeah.
And just to human decency, okay?
Yeah.
Like, just let me live. I'm going to the store. You don't need to follow me.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
it's just human decency and freedom.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
And other things, yeah.
Yes. I don't know when it clicked for me, but when I was like younger and I would just be going to the shops, Supre was one of them, which, believe it or not, guys, I could fit in their clothes at some point in my life.
You still
When I was
can.
12, no. When I was younger, after uni, would go over to Supre because, they always have the cheap stuff, and we'd go and have a look. And just for some reason, even if the workers are nowhere near us, I'll just always feel like there are eyes on me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because, like, if that's my fault, it's like, they can come over and be like, oh, I've got no issue with you being in here. I don't have any issue. Like, don't want to follow you. Don't have any. But it's just an automatic
paranoia.
thing. It's a paranoia.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that we, no matter how hard we try, we can't ever get rid of it.
Yeah.
And to me, with the Black Lives Matter, that's what, it's not just a change for the white people, but for us too.
Yeah.
To get rid of that paranoia. But how can you?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how can you when that's the society that's been molded around us?
And that's why it's important that, like, we have to keep the movement going.
Yeah.
Like, I posted it the other day, like, Black Lives Matter it's not for Spirit Week. We didn't just do it for 1 week. Like, we are really trying to push this forward. Like, there were so many during the Civil Rights Movement times where their protests last 4 days, 60 days. And it's just like, can we really do that, y'all? Like, can we really try to do this for as long as we can?
Yeah.
Like, people are thinking that it's just because of what happened to George.
Yeah.
No, he was a
People
catalyst.
think that's where it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a catalyst for something that we've been trying to do for the longest time. And I feel like with, like, our generation, like millennials, generation, what is it, Z? Or whoever is next after us, the other ones, born in 2000, whatever the names are. Like, I feel like we can really do it if we just, consistency.
Yeah. It's all about consistency.
Yeah.
Have you yourself, not just here in Australia, but over your lifetime, have you yourself experienced, like, firsthand racism?
I've experienced, it's never been direct. Like, I've never been called the N-word.
Yeah.
Thankfully, but if I was, catch these
Fist up,
hands.
listen. Checks,
No, but I've, just with, like, certain things, like microaggressions, like, you don't sound like a black girl. I hated that all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means.
You
I
don't
mean, I
sound
know
like
what
a
it
black
means.
girl.
Oh, like, I always got, you're the whitest black person I've ever met. I got that from
Do you still
a
get
lot
that now?
of my white friends. No, I don't
Okay.
get that now. No, but definitely, like, in, like, at church and stuff, like, I would get that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a compliment.
Yeah. It's offensive.
It's offensive. And just with my hair a lot.
Yeah. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Do you hate people touching your hair?
Yes, I am not an animal.
Because I've done that once when I was young. When we first met, I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like, so
Yeah.
oblivious to even that being
Let me tell you
something
something.
that people don't like. Okay, tell me.
Like, obviously now, I'm like, don't touch, why are you touching my hair? Don't
Yeah.
touch my hair. It's my crown. God gave it to me. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
But there are times where, like, you will find black people be submissive because they don't want to, like, come off as that angry black woman or, like, come off as, like, always talking about race. And so we'll just, like,
They're labeled
touch my hair.
just like that.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And
When
it's
really
like,
it's
when
not.
really I'm, like, crying on the inside. Like, don't do that. Like, yeah, so I always, you know, cousins, like, you know, oh, let's, like, put stuff in her fro. There was actually this one time, I'm going to tell you the story. There was this one time at seminary. Oh, seminary, anybody knows that.
We'll leave the link below if you want to know about seminary. My sister-in-law's a teacher.
Yeah, seminary, this teacher, so he wasn't my seminary teacher, he was a substitute teacher.
Okay.
And I did have my hair out in a fro.
And you were how old at this time, sorry?
This was my freshman year of high school. So what is that, like 14? 13,
So you're young.
Yeah. And he, after class, when I was leaving, he's like, oh, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, sure. And he said that, you know, your hair, like, it's a lot. I was like, yeah, it is. Can I go to my next class? And he was just like, you know, things that distract from the spirit, those are not good things. And I was like, sorry? He was like, things that distract. Your hair. Girl, I was sitting in the back row.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was in the front or in the, like, nobody was behind me.
Yeah.
I was in the back.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was distracting, but he felt as if my hair, like what God blessed me with, was distracting. And that's probably And that was the reason why I did not wear my hair out for a while. I straightened my hair all the time. I was always trying to have it like this long blonde, straighten it all the time.
No.
Yeah, I hated it. I hated my hair.
Maybe it was distracting him.
Maybe, girl, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at 14 years old, for you to be told your hair is distracting the spirit.
Yeah.
Which,
and
like,
it,
as
like,
a member of the church. So,
yeah.
Just a little bit of like background for those that are watching for the first time, which is everyone because this is episode 1. We are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka Mormons, aka LDS, aka...
That's all.
Yeah, those are the two. So, for me, that's really... I would feel so bad for so long as a 27-year-old. Yeah. But as a 14-year-old...
No, honestly, like, I walked away feeling just so ugly. Like, I literally was like, okay, yep, I am not the same. This is what this is. And I straightened my hair. I came back to school. I went to school the next day with my hair straightened. I was like, we can't be out here doing this.
14. That's insane.
But in regards to like, blatant and everything, like that's never happened, but it's definitely been just little things.
Yeah.
I had my white friends, they'd be like, oh, let's see if you're like darker.
Yeah.
Like, let's see who's like darker, got a tan.
Yeah.
During summer. Victoria, where's your arm? Why?
You're like,
sure. But like, you just kind of, you want to have friends. You want to like be with a crowd. So you just kind of go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in year 7, this is so embarrassing. But when I was in year 7, so my arm, obviously it's a little lighter on this side than it is on this side. I would literally sit at my desk like this because especially boys, I mean, they're always out in the sun, so they'd like tan a lot more. They'd be like, oh, I want it to be as dark as you, or, oh, turn your arm over so we can see how dark. And I'd be like, are you serious? Do you want to taste my arm? But I'd be like really embarrassed. I would be so embarrassed of the side of my arm. Yeah. Like it was, and I was year 7. Like, if I were to look at my cousins or like, my younger cousins now that are year 7, I could never see them going through something like that. But that's the world that they're now growing up in.
Yeah.
And I mean, you said it before. You mentioned the N word. And because a lot of our audience are going to be Polynesians, hopefully, I need you to educate us. Why? That's a word that I will honestly say, growing up, I'd be like, yo, this is my, and they'll be to like my white friends, my Asian friends, my Samoan friends, my Tongan friends. They would all be my N word, which I've now learned not to say because of the history it holds. But educate us. Educate our people, our Polynesian people.
Well, welcome to class, everyone. No, because I said before, like in this other video I did, I understand why you say the word. I understand why you feel connected to the word. You're of color. Like you're not white. So I understand why because people would look at you like that.
Yeah.
They would look at you as if you were that. You take from the culture, we all know what kind of music we love.
Yeah.
We love hip hop. We love R&B. We're always playing R&B.
Yeah.
We love, basketball. We wear the jerseys and long nails. We get braids in our hair. There's Polynesian women getting braids in their hair, which I'm not really sure why, because it doesn't do anything to your hair.
We'll go into that a little after.
But it's fine. It's okay. I understand why you feel connected to that word, but I want people to know that even though Black people have changed that word into something, I guess, less, horrible than what it was meant for, it's still not okay for you to say it if you're not actually a part of that community.
Right.
Not saying that we want to exclude you, because at the end of the day, who's the enemy?
Right.
Who is the enemy? Why supremacy and racism? So obviously you would, connect, but I think it's just something that we need to elevate from. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're not called out on it because, well, again, like you said earlier, like you've never met an African American, you've never met a black person. Mm-hmm. So who would have called you out?
Right.
And I've been like that.
Yeah.
Like my little brother says it all the time. Don't say it. There are people, my friends that I know from church, wherever, and they say it, and I just, again, I don't want to always come across as like I am that black girl that's always bringing up race, that is always trying to make it like this conversation. But I'm done with doing that now, because it's like, if you can't want to take away from the culture but not help the culture thrive.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be black until it's time to be black. And right now, it's very good time.
Yeah.
If you want to continue saying that word, then you need to come out here and fight.
Yeah.
And be on the road with us, and do petitions and fight for that culture that you love so much.
Yeah.
But please stop saying it.
Yeah. No, don't.
It's just, I understand why. Again, I do. I understand why you grew up that way and you love the music and it's in the music.
Yeah.
But it's not for you.
I mean, I don't know how horrible this is going to sound, what I'm about to say, but when growing up, I associated the N-word with just the darker people of that nation, of that country. And so...
Of Africa?
Because I didn't know, the history behind the word. So I just thought, okay, so in America, African Americans call each other that word because they're the black people of that country. Okay. Or they're the African Americans of that country. And then here in Australia, the darker skinned people of this country are us. So I thought that's why we're allowed to say it, but my white Aussie friends are not allowed to say it. And growing up they would, and I would get so angry, but look at me. Who am I to even get angry at them? Because even that word has nothing. I'm on their side, being an idiot saying it.
Right.
And it's all about perspective. Because from my perspective at that time, it was, you can't call us that because I know I know the word is bad when it comes from a white person.
Right.
But not from me, because I'm a dark person.
Right.
So you can't say it to me.
Right.
But then now when I turn around to my African American friends, or I'm the Aussie friend in the narrative.
And I think that's where it always gets confusing or misconstrued, is black people are people of color.
Yeah.
But people of color are not black.
Ooh.
Okay?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Mexican people, they are people of color, but they're not black.
Yes. So I ain't gonna call you out on something, but I wanted something to bring up. Because when I look at the Victoria Toa, I know she's half Tongan, half African American, right? Or half African American.
Yeah, what? Is that the question, or is that the...
No.
Oh.
I'm just confirming. Yeah, okay. And I'm Samoan. Yeah. But you had put up on your social media not long ago about the word meuli, which is a Samoan word.
Yeah.
What's your issue with that word? And with the whole N-word, I was in that position of, but who is Victoria to tell us what words we can use in our own language? Mm-hmm. I started to think like that. But
Well, thank you for calling me out on that. No.
Someone's what with that word? What about that word do you not agree with?
Well, the word means black thing.
Meuli.
It doesn't mean black thing?
When I think of the word meuli, it's a thing that is black. Look, don't come after me and my Samoan people. Because I've been here since I was 5 now. But whenever I've heard that word, I've just thought of dark skinned person.
Yeah.
So there was a post that was put up on social media from someone, I don't know who she is, but a lot of people were sharing what she said, and she referred the word to it. It's not derogatory. It's not demeaning or anything, but in the Samoan language, it's to describe a person of, it's more like the level of the darkness of their skin.
Yeah,
so someone
like
that's
deep dark.
gotten sunburnt, or like a darker Samoan. Like I have uncles that are like really dark, and then I have uncles that are not, and then those uncles would be called like that word. Oh, I don't know how I'm wording this.
Well, okay. Again, I'm not someone, so don't come for me.
Don't come for
No,
her.
like, or come for
her.
me, like, that's fine. We're all about educating.
Yes.
No, but I thought that was correct, that word actually means black thing, because when the German soldiers came to Samoa, they brought Samoan slaves. And so Samoan people then called the Samoan slaves Muli, which is black thing.
Yeah.
Because of their black skin. Because I don't like that word, because when I hear it, it does sound degrading.
Right.
Because I hear my aunties say it, and they say it's like said under their breath.
Yeah, and it's
Like-
never said like in a positive.
And it's not said in a positive light. And so to me, it doesn't sound like a good word. I'm not trying to say like your language is wrong or anything like that. But if that's the actual definition of that word, I'm sorry, but I'm not a thing.
Right.
I'm not an object.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a human being. And like, you have a word for white people. It means that they fell from the sky or whatever. Like, they're from the sky. What is it?
Yeah, palangin.
Yeah.
Girl, you know that
They
word.
fell from the sky?
They fell from somewhere.
They fell from somewhere. No, but that word just sounds a bit degrading to me.
Yeah.
And obviously it's up to y'all. Like, it's up to Samoans whether or not that word will change or, whatever. But
Just don't say it to you.
I mean, obviously, if you say it to me, like, okay, but it's just in my mind, I'll probably think, all right.
Yeah, it's
That's
not.
where we're at.
And no, and it's like you bring it up, but it's right when you get called that, even from a Samoan to a Samoan, you're never calling them like a beautiful, like amazingly talented. Like it's not. That doesn't.
Like,
it's
it
not
comes
attached
off
to
to-
anything positive.
Yeah.
Has a negative vibe.
No, because when I heard that story about the whole, like, Germans and that thing, like, if that's what they're describing Samoan people, if you look at what a Samoan looks like,
Yeah.
they are very dark skin.
Yeah.
And then that will then obviously then come to colorism. And the colorism issue that we have in Pacific Islanders, in the Pacific Islands, where we don't, it's like we don't want to be darker than a specific, like,
Right.
tone. Like when it's summertime,
Mine's
why
so
is it that
perfect.
we're wearing full clothes at the beach? We don't want to get there. We're
Because
like, I don't want to get
Show
black.
everything.
No, it's like we don't want to get black.
Yeah.
Or we will make fun of like Fijians because they are actually darker.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if someone's gotten to look darker, they're the ones
Yeah,
that
and then
get
they're like,
teased.
damn, you look black. It's
Yeah.
like, girl, I love this gold melanin skin. It is shining in the sun.
Yeah.
And it comes back to colorism. Where did colorism stem from? It stemmed from this ideology that the white man brought into play.
Yeah.
That my skin is better because it is lighter and yours is not.
I wasn't calling you out because I disagreed or agreed. I just wanted to know what you meant, like what you think about it. But it's good because I feel like
Call
it's
me
so-
out though if I'm wrong. If that's
it's
not what
so
that word
divided.
means. Like, yeah.
It's so divided.
I think the word they wanted to use was Tamata Uwi, like people that they wanted to change it to.
Yeah.
They presented something.
Because, I mean, how could you even say an African American or African in Samoan?
It's hard to-
Afrika?
Yeah, it's hard.
Because
Sure,
should I call
don't
you?
know.
Like, Victoria is a Tongan
I have no
and
idea.
Afrika.
Make up bluebirds,
Yeah.
angels. That is something.
I don't know, like maybe if the word doesn't change, but if that's like, if you feel like, if you individually feel like that's maybe not right for you as an individual, then maybe that's something that you do on your own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like that's one step that Polynesians can take to support the movement.
Yeah.
Like how else can we? Because I mean, we're not, like we said before, we're not fully in it.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, yeah, you're not, I guess, fully in it there, but like you can. The movement is wherever you are. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to be there. You don't have to go to the protests. Obviously, the protests are great. You know, going there, shouting. You know, making your voice heard. But there are so many other ways. There are petitions that you can sign. You can do emails. Read.
Yeah.
Okay. Do research, do your homework, ask.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with asking. I mean, I'm not Google, but you can ask me or ask somebody. And don't be afraid to ask. You know, it's all right.
Yeah.
We want people to learn and understand so that they can realize what is going on so that we can hopefully, you know, fight.
Yeah. So, social media right now is killing me because a lot of people's like statuses and their posts, it's just
Facebook
killing
is
me.
Crazy.
And it's because I saw a post that was put up by an American friend of mine, and all he wrote on there was, "This is not an issue of race. This is an issue of police brutality." Is he wrong?
Yeah, because the whole reason why there's police brutality is because they didn't like what they saw.
Yeah.
The white man didn't like the black guy, and so he killed him.
Yeah. But how
because
do those issues, like, are they the same issue? Is it that if we fix one, then the other one is fixed? You know, if we have...
No, because there are so many things that stem from, like, police brutality. It's a catalyst. Mm-hmm. It stems from racism. It's the same as colorism.
Yep.
It's the same as environmental racism. Why is it that we are disproportionately put on the map? It deals with redlining. Mm-hmm. Why is it that we have to travel 50 miles to go to the doctor or to vote? Yep. But there are voting booths and nurses and everything here in this community, and they're able to thrive, but like we have to travel distances. Mm-hmm. Okay, it has mass incarceration. Why is it that there are so many black and brown men in the prison system for very minor, simple things like marijuana? Yet we're out here having marijuana stores. Yeah. Like it's, you know,
the government can make that.
It all education. Mm-hmm. It all stems from what? Racism. And racism came from what? A white man. Like it's a system that was created and designed to ensure that people who are of a different skin tone can continue to stay here and not be able to elevate and like succeed.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that if police officers were trained more about racism, this problem would go away?
I mean, you can train somebody. It's whether or not they are willing to
learn about it.
It's an individual thing at the end of the day. And if you do your research, you'll, like, the whole reason why police were even brought into existence in the first place is because of slavery. Yeah. Obviously, there were police, like people that would try to catch slaves, you know, that were trying to run away from the plantations. But then when slavery ended and all the slaves were free, they were like thinking that black people would try to seek revenge. Right. So police were in place to protect white people and white property. That is the role. And obviously it's transformed throughout the years into something different. And I do, it's not, it is training, because they get very less training than different types of, you know, what is it, like careers and things like that. It's like kind of like a 8-week program, and then here's your badge, here's your gun, go out there and fight crime. But I just think, oh gosh, I don't want to go into the whole defund police thing. That's where my brain's heading. But like, you know, it's just like the whole police thing, the academy, how it all comes into play should be restructured.
Yep.
You know, all that they are doing most of the day is barely fighting crime. They're
Yeah.
sitting around babysitting, watching black and brown people, hopefully making sure that they don't do anything bad.
Yeah.
And that's not their role. Their role is to actually go and fight crime. There's no reason for you to call the police to see if this guy had a fake $20 bill.
Yeah.
Which is what he would.
George Floyd,
What
yes.
happened to George?
Yeah.
And that $20 bill didn't even end up being fake.
Really?
So it's just like,
I don't know that.
it's just, you know, there are so many things that just need to get fixed in that whole thing. And, you know, yeah, teach, learn, educate,
Yeah.
but it's still down to like
The individual.
the individual, because when you are a policeman, it gives you like this power, like this sense of like authority, like,
Yep.
no, I'm the man, I'm the law. And it's just like,
You have to listen to
Yeah.
me. What I say goes.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's not something that's ever going to change. I mean, racism is never going
It's
to
always
go
gonna be
away.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always going to be there because it just, some people just get so stuck
Yeah.
in their ways
Yeah.
where there's no getting through them, there's no getting around them.
Yeah.
You just have to face it head on and,
Yeah.
you know, kind of get through it. And that's so sad for people of color.
Yeah.
And I think when I watched that video, the first time I ever watched the video of what happened to George Floyd, like, it made me so angry that another human being could not ever have the perspective of, oh, what if this was my son? Or what if
Yeah.
this was my daughter? Or what if this was me? Like, how
Yeah.
do people not... And I've always kind of like lived in that way of having the perspective of someone else. I mean, if I were to ever judge someone on their situation, like, what if that was me?
Yeah.
Or, you know, and it just, I was just so mad. And I'm not from there, not close to anyone there. Like,
Yeah.
I have absolutely no connection, but the fact that I'm another person of color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that with everything that you're saying, the Black Lives Matter movement, it's we can relate to it. We're not 100% in it because we will never, whoever is not an African American will never understand what they went through.
Yeah.
But we have a duty here as Polynesians to push that movement.
Yeah, push the movement. Look in your own community. You know, not just in like obviously the Polynesian community, but where you are. We're in Australia. We know what's happening here with the Indigenous people here.
Yep.
You know, see what you can do with that in regards to going to their types of centers or their marches and things like that, because they need the help as well.
Yeah.
So
Do
help
our
all
part.
around. Yeah, do your part.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
This has been so
Thank
fun.
you.
For everyone watching, I will put in the link, you'll see Victoria's social media. Go to her Instagram page so you get to see everything she's out there. Victoria,
I post a lot.
she posts a lot of things that are really educational and I guess will help us have more of a perspective from from an advocate for this movement, because it's what we all need, to have perspective, show respect to our part. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you. Guys, come back next week. We're going to have another topic. We're going to talk to other people. And this is PolyTalk, okay? We're going to be better at talking to our poly people. This is the platform for everyone. So come here to talk more with our poly friends. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.